Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 1st of March, 2016. How is everyone doing? So I'm putting this video out because I know that this video is going to unlock some doors. It's going to ground some feet. It's going to open some eyes because we're talking about you. Nothing else matters, you know? We're talking about that beautiful person looking back in the mirror. Y-O-U. So yesterday I tried to put a video out, and for 3 times there was a block, there was a delay. And I'm a firm believer when things are presented to you that normally should flow a certain way and there's some apprehension there, I believe divinely that there's something in the way. So as I always do, I start my day, I end my day in prayer. I stay connected no matter where I'm at to the Holy Spirit, because I also know that without God's direction, all my blessings that are meant to be released in the time can't come to pass. So I must be diligent with that. I must stay grounded within myself so I can see and understand where I'm going. I know I'm talking to somebody. So yesterday, y'all, was leap year, leap day. Yeah, leap year. Every 4 years, we have an extra 24 hours given. I hope that yesterday was a day that was beneficial to you and you were able to take care of something that maybe you had put to the side or had not gotten to, and that time served you well. Because we already know time is not promised, it is given. So this is the second day of your new week, and I hope that whatever the revelations and things that were revealed to you this past weekend, it served you. I hope that whatever was experienced and things that may had to be accomplished, it uplifted you as well. But I hope that whatever was shown, it served as a beacon to the validation of your state of mind. So do you have your mind right? Is your feet grounded? Because if you don't have either one of them together, guess what? Your reality is not clear. I ain't got to tell you that because I know some of y'all are feeling a certain kind of way right now because you had a revelation that if you had the information that you had now, then life as you know it would be totally different now, wouldn't it? Shame the devil tell the truth. But, this is also a significant period of time, too, and I'm going to get on my soapbox, and I'm going to get off of it on this one topic. Right now, here in the United States, we are starting to be in the midst of our electoral primaries. And I had someone ask, well, Gerald, what's your opinion about the election? Well, I'll tell you this. I know what I don't agree with. I know what has disappointed me. And I'll be honest with you, Um, when it comes to my vote, I'm not convinced. So I say to each and every voter out there, don't go to the polls with the mindset of just saying eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Don't go to the polls with the mindset of, well, he or she looks just like me. You got it. Don't go to the polls in regards to, well, they got points and things about them that I aspire to do, but I don't agree with their philosophy, so they get my vote. I say to each and every one of you that are going to cast your vote, make sure whoever that is genuinely represents who you are. Now, granted, there are going to be some people that are going to make a decision not to cast that vote. I understand that too. But there's a trade-off by not casting your vote, y'all. The trade-off is they've already calculated already on activity. They already have a metric of what they tentatively think the outcome is going to be. But I also say this too. By you choosing not to vote, you silence your opinion. You have no reason to complain on the outcome because you got to remember, people died for your opportunity to vote. So you do a disservice by not doing your civic duty. And I understand people when they say, well, you know, Gerald, I hear what you're saying, but really, presidents are selected, they're not elected. I don't know why you can't see that. Why you think we got electoral colleges and they don't work? All I'm saying, people, is search your heart and do what you feel. The worst thing that you want to do is have someone that is going to be the figurehead of the United States and you didn't participate in that. And I say that because there's nothing worse than see people be willing hypocrites, willful hypocrites, holding an opinion about your commander in chief. Mind you, you swore, took an oath, and you represent us proudly, but yet you talk foolishly. Everybody's entitled to an opinion, but you can't have it both ways. There's been so much turmoil and downright disrespect. We like to pick and choose what suits us because we don't want to work for it. All I want to say is, people, make sure you get it right. You know, do the work. Don't get mad because of things you left not done. So it's leap year. Well, yesterday was leap year. It's March 1st. And you're ushering in a new season, y'all. Now's the time, y'all, that look at where you are now compared to where you were 6 months. And honestly, gauge if you have grown. What has come out of these last 6 months compared to the things you have yet to do? What were you exposed to? Does it serve you, or has it been holding you back? I'm asking you to search your heart, y'all. Because if you don't search your heart, you can't ground your feet. And if you can't ground your feet, you can't speak your truth. And if you can't speak your truth, you will never see your purpose, nor know where, nor live your life. You more or less be a representation of what you don't want for your life. And that's a life unfulfilled. You realize there are people waking up right now that they realize that they have been emotionally swindled. You have some that are waking up and realizing that they said, well, you know what? I have sold out. And they feel a certain kind of way because of the fact that they allow their materialism or lack thereof to persuade their behaviors. Don't you know, people, you can't take it with you, but if love is not in it, it ain't going to serve you. But constantly, we want to embrace and celebrate the concubine, the kept person, but yet have the audacity to feel a certain kind of way when they don't serve you. We are what we attract, man. We are what we attract, Queen. Can't you see it? How many times do you have to fall on your knees before you finally get up? But see, you know what I've learned? And this is one of the things that I have tried. I know it's hot because I'm about to speak some truth. The one thing that I've noticed in my adult life, and I've seen this even when I'm in my young teens, and I could never understand, was the fact that pride, that false emotion, that false, oh man, that prideful spirit has no accountability for your life. It only sets out to destroy it. It only just keeps you in denial. And the question is, why? Why is it we allow our pride to mislead us each and every time? Can you name one thing that your pride represented for your life? What did you have to give up to embrace it? Because guess what? There is no loyalty to your pride. Your pride don't give a damn about you. It never will. Your pride is only good for one thing. It's to set you up for more pain. Doesn't matter when the delivery comes, because either way it goes, it's going to knock you to your knees, or it's going to change your life for an indefinite period of time. I know I'm talking to someone, but I've also come to know this too. Most people that walk with prideful spirits don't love themselves. They don't. And they make sure they put so much emphasis on convincing you that they are solid. But these are some of the most tormented souls. It don't have to be like that, y'all. It don't have to be like that. But see, I understand, because we live in a world where honoring ourselves is Doesn't matter. Who cares? I wanted to look a certain way. In my community, in the African American community, our women are so broken, they don't even love themselves. They're more convinced on looking like someone else than honoring and celebrating who they are, which is, I wish that there was a way that you could see the real you, you know? You would really see how beautiful you are, but see how much it costs you to divide yourself from the real you. But see, here's the thing: somebody made a point, and I was like, right on. Um, and I've always felt this way too. We live in an age where uh, overindulge, over overindulgence is celebrated, but pure investment, is not. For example, we live in an age where women, and this is not about you women, but I have to use you as an example. We live in an age where you have people that want long hair, they want long hair, but they don't want to invest the time to grow it. Then I thought about it. Well, why? Because I realized that it requires a commitment within yourself to make that occur. It requires you to be patient and allow that your body regenerate itself, which means requires time. And we are living in a time where patience and is not. No one has time. We have a microwavable mentality. And then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. So now we live in this. We for come on now, last 18 years. I don't want to say 20, but I say at least 15, 18 years now. You know, we want ass. We want ass. So you got these. So you've got these women going ahead and getting these liposuctions and you're going through that pain because I heard it's very, very uncomfortable, and rightfully so. I mean, isn't the backside supposed to be soft? It's fragile. It's beautiful to look at, but you're not an object. You're not. But we live in a society where you objectify yourself every day. You know, and here's my point. I also have been on this planet long enough to understand that hard work pays off. We've all heard that. Hard work pays off. So we know that the sacrifice required means you must invest in it. Shouldn't that investment be pure? Nobody goes to the dealership to buy a portion of a car. They buy the whole object, the automobile. No one goes to a dealership to say, well, I like the body style of that vehicle. I'll so let me have the body and I'll come back in a couple of months and get the engine. No, we don't do that. So I was like, well, why aren't so many other women pissed off at those who do? And then someone brought up the scenario about, well, women want to look like cartoons. And they referenced the Roger Rabbit, Jessica Rabbit animation character. But no one failed to realize that the character of the Jessica Rabbit, she was a harlot. That's what her role was. She was that lady in red. She was willing to do whatever she had to do by way of using her looks for gain. Only difference was she her her area of focus wasn't on the street. It was in a club. So she used her femininity as a weapon. She used her mind as a tool to spawn a certain outcome. So, of course, with the dim lights, the distraction of the environment, the ambiance, to someone who had never been exposed to this, this would be breathtaking until you turn the light on, until you take the makeup off, until you look within, only to find what? A broken little girl trying to be something that she was not. But she was a product of her environment. She was a manifestation of what stimulated much of the outcomes found in that club. You got to remember, people, we are what we attract. So what did she do? She was found, her guy was, he was a gangster. She was about that life. So there was a lot of intrigue there. And then there was Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit could have been ordinary Joe, USA, worldwide. Good heart. Shouldn't have been there, but he was. He was smitten over this woman. And in turn, that got him in trouble. Hence, the movie begins. So now we are in the pre-dawning of springtime, because spring hits the 21st. The weather's starting to bring the residual effects of what was not produced in the winter months. So don't be surprised if you hear it, that the weather's going to change and do what it's going to do these next couple of weeks. And then the rain's going to come. Got to have the rain. April showers equals May flowers. But what doesn't stop, y'all, is your life. No, your life doesn't stop because your heart hasn't. Your lungs still breathe. Your mind still works. So your focus should always be there. But I also believe this, y'all. Some of y'all have been dealing with a spiritual battle within yourself because You've gotten to that point where you're saying, you know what? I can't turn a blind eye to whatever's going on. This is not who I am, nor does this represent my direction. And that's where the conflict begins. That's where it begins. And some of y'all honestly feel trapped too. I know I'm talking to somebody. You're at a point that every day that you turn that door key, you feel more and more repulsed. You shouldn't be feeling like, damn, I gotta come right back here again. You might feel that on your job. You might even feel this right in your own home. But what is a home that has no love in it? I'll tell you what it is. It's a hotel. I know I'm talking to someone. Because a home without love in it is just nothing but walls, just a place to keep you out of the elements, just a place for storage of things monetarily that have no connection to you. I know I'm talking to someone. All you want to do is breathe now. You thinking in your mind, if I could just be over there, just for a minute. Oh, how my life would be different. If I could only embrace this. Oh, well, how at peace I would be. If you are feeling these things right there, you've got a spiritual battle going on within yourself. Let me just throw this out there right now. You're not crazy. Let's debunk that now. You have the right to feel what you are feeling. And what you're feeling is probably based off of the environment of what's being shown to you on a daily basis. So, yeah, you feeling some kind of way now, ain't you? You know, I used it in my last video. You're starting to see what not reading that small print has given you. Oh, yes, if you knew what you knew now, you would have did a Michael Jackson moonwalk to get out of that situation. I know I'm talking to someone. So let me ask you this. When you going to take that victim card out of your wallet? When you going to take it out of your purse and do something different? Because if you choose to keep that victim card in your wallet or in your purse, guess what happens? Every day is another day that you have willfully allowed yourself to be robbed from, because you're not living your life. You're not living your life. I don't have to tell you that. Case in point, one of the biggest phenomena on TV is that show called Empire. It's on Fox. That show is so profound that you have people that will emulate the storyline, but more importantly, embrace the personalities on the screen. I know I'm talking about. Watch how many people you see walking around trying to emulate a character that don't exist. But in your mind, in your heart, you say, well, you know what, Gerald? I know that person right there. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell you something, y'all. I'm not bagging on the show because I have not watched one episode of the show. And you say, well, how can that be, Gerald? Don't represent me. Because it don't mean you got to support it. Don't mean you got to hate on it either. I know that that show doesn't represent me as a man. So I don't support it. I don't watch it. But I do know that just like anything that is introduced to the world, there's going to be somebody that's going to be able to relate to it. And you're going to see that energy reciprocated in their behavior. I know I'm talking to somebody, you be like, ever since you started doing this or started hanging out with them, you've been acting like them. Of course. You know why? It's because that person's spirit is stronger than the person that they're affiliated with. Spiritual covenants are real, y'all. They're real. So how much shock and awe do you have to endure before you realize there's a spiritual battle going on for your soul? How much disappointment and intrigue do you have to see before you realize that this is not meant for your life? How much betrayal and abuse did you have to endure before you finally say, you know what, I can't do it on my own. Lord, please help me. Because the moment that you do, that's the moment your life as you've known it changes. It's going to change. But let's be honest with this. I've mentioned this before, if we were to look at the world as a whole, we can easily say there are 50% of the people on this planet that will choose their material. I don't like using the term sellout, but they will choose their worldliness over their spiritual connection. They will. They be like, well, you know what? I tell you what, you give me your soul, and I'll give you everything you want. I'll give you everything you want on this planet. You'll live high on the land. You'll have all the admiration, people. You'll be like a star. You just give me your soul. Just give it to me. But even trying to rational, well, you know, when I die, ain't nobody gonna know anyway. You know, I can't take this with me, so I might as well have fun while I got it. Yeah, go ahead, give me the soul. Come on now. I'll give you anything you want. And then what happened? Next thing you know, you got instantaneous celebrity. Until that breakthrough moment comes. And then now you're like, oh, I ain't signed up for this. Wow, that was too heavy. Ooh, no, you gave me your soul. Then you realize there was something that was going to come with it. And the funny thing about it, because a lot of this stuff is hidden in plain sight, don't you realize it's about the agenda, y'all? You don't never see people that are doing God's work celebrated. You never see that. But everybody that's working against God's will, what happens? It's just a matter of time. The scandal comes. First, they attack the person's credibility. Then, they attack that money that they gave them. Then, if that don't break them, oh, all of a sudden, Johnny got an overdose. Johnny was in a car crash. Johnny mysteriously died. Come on, this happens every year. Every year, y'all. Think back. Same scenario. Say something messed up. Oh, we're going after you with your taxes. Because we got to make sure that you are pushing the agenda. It's no surprise, y'all. Do the math, do the research, just see it yourself. But what we're talking about is your heart. Why do you allow your environment to convince you you're not worthy respect? Why do you allow your environment to convince you that you should not be honored, protected, and loved? Why? Because you get caught up with the glitz and glam. Jazzy Jeff put an album out now almost 4 years. One of my favorite songs he put on that album was called My Soul Is Not For Sale. It was done by I'm having a brain dump. Oh, man. Raheem Devon. It's a beautiful song. Very beautiful song. Especially for my hip hop family. It's a classic. But you'll never get that song played on radio. It was never put on radio. Never. Why? Because it talked about God. It was a hip hop song. Everything about that track was on point. Didn't get one spin. Why? Because the devil has principalities over media. And that brings me back to this. See, you might not realize where you live at, there may be a demonic principality that oversees that area. And that, because you live there, the things that you need to do, you're unable to do because the influence is that strong. It's no surprise nowadays you're having those nightmares. Some of you may be even having those visions. You're having dreams of people that you at one time were connected to. What you're feeling is the spiritual connection that you have. Really, well, come on, you never lose the connection. You're tied to these people. There was a reason why they came into your life to begin with. But now you're starting to understand why. But you know what I've come to learn, y'all? When that connection is fostered by LOVE, love never dies. Ever. You know why? Because that is a living demonstration of God's grace over you. I've had this discussion with countless people, and I asked, I said, well, hey, your last relationship that you were in, or the relationships you've had in the past, you know, do you still love them? And they're like, no, the hell with them, no. And I was trying to understand, well, how can you use that word falsely? But we do it all the time. I'll explain. See, when you genuinely love someone, it's unconditional, y'all. People don't understand the gravity of what the word unconditional means. That means unconditional means forever. That's a long time without the. That's ever without take the four off. That's ever. That's eternal. That means as long as you exist. But I've also come to understand too, people tend to use the word without the application. So does it surprise you that you feel a certain kind of way about someone that has been in your life, and every time that you think of them, it takes you back to the moment? That's why music is so profound. You can turn the radio on or put on a CD and play a certain song, and as soon as the first note drops, it takes you emotionally back to a time. And I guarantee you, what you may not realize is going on is emotionally you're being vulnerable to embrace that moment. We know those as memories, but really these are nothing but the chronicles of your life history. So the question should be, why do you choose to denounce yourself? Why? Don't you realize you can't get back yesterday? But it is your responsibility to understand what was revealed. Something to think about. God's praying for you. You know I am. And for that, it helps me discern mine.